When everyone is being real, who's actually real? We live in a time where being authentic has become part of the performance. Every photo posted, caption written, or video uploaded is a decision, not just about what to share, but how to share it. In the digital age, curation isn't just for art galleries or fashion collections. It's the default setting for how we present our identities. We've entered the age of curated selves. Social media, once hailed as a revolutionary tool for raw self-expression, has evolved into a stage. Platforms like Instagram or TikTok reward not just authenticity, but aesthetic authenticity, realness with good lighting, vulnerability with good angles, and imperfection that still fits the brand. What began as a space for genuine connection has turned into a marketplace of personas, where being real must first pass through filters, both literal and metaphorical. The idea of personal branding has seeped from business into daily life. Whether you're a freelance artist or a university student, you're now expected to cultivate a digital presence that reflects not just who you are, but who you aspire to be. Every tweet, story, or selfie subtly says, "This is me," while also asking, "Do you approve?" This is where the line between authenticity and performance starts to blur. We're encouraged to be open about our flaws, our failures, our insecurities, but only in ways that are palatable, marketable, or on trend. Vulnerability becomes a content strategy. Transparency becomes a tool for engagement. Even the messiness of life is stylized into something digestible. And when everyone is performing their truth, it becomes increasingly difficult to tell what's real and what's just real looking. Instagram's version of transparency exemplifies this. You post a crying selfie, but you choose the take where your tears catch the light just right. You share a story of burnout, but only after you've recovered. You're allowed to be broken, but it must be beautiful. Authenticity becomes a type of aesthetic, a pose of being unposed. It's not that people are faking, it's that the system rewards those who package truth most appealingly. This cultural shift isn't limited to influencers or celebrities. Even the average person begins to see their life through the lens of audience and algorithm. Identity becomes modular, selected, edited, refined, and deployed strategically. The self is no longer something to be discovered, but something to be managed and optimized. So the core question emerges: when everyone is being real, who's actually real? If performance is the default, can anything be truly authentic? Or have we reached a point where authenticity itself has become another costume, just more believable than the rest? In the age of curated selves, the performance never stops. And perhaps the most convincing role we play is ourselves. We like to believe that what we share online is a reflection of who we are. But more often than not, it's a reflection of what gets attention. In the digital age, authenticity isn't just shaped by intention. It's sculpted by algorithms. Likes, shares, and views act as a modern-day applause meter, quietly guiding us toward versions of ourselves that perform well. Over time, we don't just post for connection, we post for approval. Algorithms are not passive tools, they're active shapers of behavior. Designed to prioritize engagement, they favor content that provokes emotional response, especially content that signals vulnerability, outrage, or intimacy. This creates a feedback loop. We share something raw, it performs well, and we're rewarded with a flood of likes and comments. That dopamine hit is addictive, so we do it again. But now the motive has subtly shifted. Vulnerability becomes less about connection and more about optimization. What's supposed to be authentic becomes a performance crafted to fit the algorithm's taste. We start learning. A breakdown on TikTok gets more reach than a thoughtful reflection. A teary-eyed story about anxiety performs better than a post about feeling okay. The algorithm rewards emotional exposure, so we supply it. This leads to a form of behavioral conditioning. We begin to craft identities not based on who we are, but on what works. The authentic self is no longer internal. It becomes reactive. You're not just being you. You're being what the audience expects you to be. And the more the audience grows, the more strategic that identity becomes. TikTok's version of vulnerability is a clear example. Videos of people crying, sharing trauma, or exposing raw truths are pushed by the algorithm because they drive high engagement. But over time, even the most sincere emotions begin to feel performative. It's not that the feelings aren't real, it's that the incentive structure demands they be shared, framed, and timed perfectly. So the question becomes, is your authentic self really you or just what the system has trained you to be? When every post is a transaction and every emotion is a form of content, authenticity becomes a strategic behavior. And in a world where approval is automated, even the truest parts of us are quietly edited by code. Once upon a time, vulnerability was private. It was something shared with close friends, whispered in quiet moments. But today, vulnerability is a product. It's content. In an online culture driven by visibility, being emotionally raw is no longer just honest, it's profitable. Welcome to the emotional economy where feelings are monetized and authenticity is a brand asset. From influencers crying on Instagram stories to podcasters diving into their darkest traumas, emotional disclosure has become a strategy. It's marketed as realness, but often it's a performance. Not necessarily fake, but stage-timed and packaged for engagement. The internet rewards what feels intimate, and there's nothing more intimate than pain. We're seeing the rise of what could be called aesthetic suffering, where emotional distress is made visually appealing. A tear-streaked face in perfect lighting, a confessional monologue with soft background music. It feels honest, but it's also highly curated. This doesn't mean the pain isn't real. It often is, but the way it's shared transforms it from experience to product. Trauma becomes content. The more dramatic the story, the higher the views. Platforms reward emotional highs and lows extremes. So, creators learn to frame their struggles as narratives. Heartbreak becomes a series. Depression turns into a hook. The messier your life, the more marketable it becomes, if you know how to sell it. This leads to parasocial intimacy, where audiences feel deeply connected to someone they've never met. Viewers begin to feel like friends, even therapists. And creators, in turn, feel pressure to stay open, vulnerable, broken, because that's what keeps the connection alive. It's a trap. You're rewarded for bleeding publicly, but punished if you heal and move on. So, can something be emotionally honest and still manipulative? Yes, because honesty isn't just about what's shared, it's about why it's shared. When the motivation shifts from expression to engagement, the line between sincerity and strategy blurs. Vulnerability becomes a means to an end. In this emotional marketplace, being real sells, but when pain is profitable, how do we know if what we're watching is healing or just harvesting attention? We say we want authenticity, but increasingly, what we really want is the performance of it. In a world where every gesture is potentially content, and every thought might be a post, the very idea of authenticity feels like a vanishing point. Something we're always chasing but never quite reaching. When everything is being watched, curated, and fed into an algorithm, how do you know which parts of you are real and which parts are just strategy? Maybe the answer isn't louder expression. Maybe it's quieter existence. Privacy has become an act of rebellion. In the age of oversharing, choosing to keep something just for yourself, an idea, a feeling, a moment, is radical. It's a refusal to perform, a refusal to let the algorithm dictate your identity. The self doesn't have to be an open window. Sometimes it's more powerful as a closed door. This is where the idea of the sacred inner life comes in. Thoughts and feelings that are not for an audience, not even for validation, but simply for you. It's not about hiding, but about protecting. In a hyper-visible world, realness might begin with intentional invisibility. Ask yourself, when was the last time you did something meaningful? Without recording it, without telling anyone, without planning how you post about it later. Try it. Protect the moment. Keep it yours. Reclaim your reality from the feed. There's also power in silence. The internet thrives on reaction, outrage, hot takes, constant opinions. Choosing not to respond, not to perform, is another form of resistance. Stillness is not emptiness, it's space, and space is where truth grows. Setting digital boundaries, not just time limits, but emotional ones, can help separate who you are from how you appear. You can still engage, still share, but from a place of intention, not addiction. You become the author of your identity again, not the audience. So, is true authenticity still possible? Not if we define it as constant exposure, but if we define it as alignment between thought and action, between inner truth and outer presence, then yes, it is. It just might look quieter than we expect. In the end, being real isn't about what you show. It's about what you choose not to.